Hi, hello, welcome. My name is Eden, and it is the end of the year 2023, which means it is time to look back and recap all that occurred. So we're gonna jump right into it. This year was a big one of transitions. Crazy to think about where I started the year and where I'm at now, and I suppose everything in between. So I'm gonna break it down by season, really in like 3-month chunks, and let's jump into it. I started the year with 1 week left at my old job, and then I was on the hunt for a new one, looking at what this next step could mean in my career and really the trajectory of the year. Today was a big day. It was my last day at BSM, and I have some great supporters in my life who enjoyed a happy hour with me and are awesome. So thank you, everybody. With this job hunt, I really wanted to take the time to find the right fit and also just refresh myself. And one way I did that was by rock climbing. I had a 3-month membership and I made really good use of it, going every week. They also have yoga at the gym, and so I would go to this really awesome hot yoga class every Friday, and it just felt really good to move around, get stronger, stay active, stay limber, clear my mind, and had such a blast climbing. It was also nice to be able to go in the daytime when it wasn't quite as busy, and just to see again the progress I made. I actually accomplished a few more levels in difficulty, and I was able to bring lots of friends to try it out for the first time as well. And it just really is good quality time when you can climb with other people. I also found the courage to go by myself. I bought some wireless headphones, and then I would just go about my way at the gym and meet and talk with whoever was there. It's a really encouraging and collaborative atmosphere at the gym. Everyone's cheering each other on, lending tips on how one might accomplish a certain project and find their way up the wall. And so that was a big bright spot for me this year. Another piece that I really appreciated having and was a big blessing was to be involved in Spring Into Dance, Concordia University's annual theater dance production. And so I was brought back as an alumni choreographer, and they also had an alumni dance this year, so I was able to both choreograph and dance. And this again was something weekly that would get me out of the house, get me moving, allow me to really pour my creative spirit into something and see a project come to life. I got to meet lots of great students, work with them, and reconnecting with the alumni whom I share such great memories with was a great time as well. So that lasted from January until showtime in April. My piece was titled A Reader's Enchantment, and it was inspired by my love of reading and really just how a book can transport you. And so it was a fun story to tell through dance, and then to also have input on the costumes and the lighting. It really is just this creation that came together, and I was really proud of the final piece and my dancers. In a time of uncertainty with my job, it really brought me a lot of joy to be able to go and have such a supporting and uplifting community. Throughout the first months of the year, yes, it took months for me to find a job. I was going out for networking, coffees, and lunches, really trying to get an idea of different industries and avenues I could pursue, what really felt like the right fit. I kept talking about this idea of being able to be creative, but not this, not that. And so I couldn't really paint a clear picture, but I had the colors. I was pretty particular about which jobs I was actually applying to, and so it took some time. I was enjoying my unemployment as well. You reach a point where you're ready to go back to work, and I was getting antsy. There were a few times I made it through a couple interviews and then wasn't offered the job. That's a letdown. It really takes a toll on you to understand your worth, but at the same time I'm proud of myself for knowing that I was waiting for the right fit, and that right fit was going to be a company that was just as excited about me as I was about going to work for them. Some other activities that I enjoyed when I had 24 hours, 7 days a week to myself. During my brother's spring break, my dad, brother, and his friend, we all went up to Lutsen Mountains to ski, and this was something I probably wouldn't have been able to do had I had a job. I played around with a few different recipes this year, bringing back some different every plate meals that I enjoyed, trying to make stuffed shells and some new chicken recipes. And so that also was just a way for me to slow down, to be healthy, have an activity. I think back to my spring during this job search, during this time to myself, and it really ran parallel to the season of new beginnings. The snow is melting, the sun is coming out, but you're not quite to summer yet. And so what did that look like for me? There was hope, but there was also the occasional snowstorm that kept hitting. Because this past year we got so much snow, we broke Minnesota snow records. And again, it was just fitting in that regard. I would be remiss not to mention the year of Sanderson, as my book-loving heart was full this year, and I was excited to unbox a quarterly book. Book number 1 was a bit delayed, so that didn't come until March of the year. But as you can see on my shelves, I was pretty excited about the various books. They were beautiful, and I highly recommend picking up Brandon Sanderson's new books. Big shout out to my friends and family this year who really just held me close, were praying for me, were incredibly supportive and encouraging as I worked through what this next step could mean for me, and who really just embraced me when I was down and also celebrated with me when everything fell into place. I turned 25 this year. Quarter Life Crisis, that was the name of the trivia group that I went out for birthday celebrations with. Had a fun time bowling, and I also bought a new bed this year. That was a grown-up purchase, and I've been sleeping well. I went through new membership classes and became a member at my church. That was another bright point, with the congregation really keeping me in their prayers. I was a part of the praise team, singing on Sundays. It was these little pieces that were on my calendar with encouraging people that really warms my heart when I think about how I'm so well cared for. I did a bit of traveling this year. I went out to Colorado and Denver area, where one of my best friends currently is living, and just had a really great time with an extended weekend hiking around. We went rock climbing together, meeting her friends, going out and about. Colorado is a beautiful state, and so it was fun to enjoy the nature and all that it had to offer. Right before I had left to Colorado, I had heard back from a job that I did not get the role, and so when I returned from the trip, I renewed my efforts into sending in applications, and spoiler alert, I was successful. I submitted an application on Monday, heard back from HR that evening, scheduled an interview phone call on Wednesday of that week. Went well. We scheduled an in-person interview on Friday of that week to get it in before Memorial Weekend. Had a third interview the following week and was offered the job the next day. It really was all in God's timing. The role was exactly what I was picturing without knowing what that picture was. They were excited about me. They have a strong team culture that loves to dress up for every holiday and have competitions. They are dedicated to getting the work done and making lofty goals, but also enjoying the whole process. And so I've been enjoying 6 months at my work. It was in June that I started my job, and a lot of the people on my team were either going out on maternity leave or on maternity leave. The first couple months I was really filling in, trying to help assist, making sure all of my teammates who were out, their roles were covered. But when all the babies were born and they were all back, I was able to really move into my role. Our Rockstar team is carrying forward. My company has 2 annual company-wide conferences, and so one of them was in July, and I had a big hand in helping our owners put their presentations together and assist with a little bit of the event side as well. We've expanded and opened offices out of state, but they all came to Minnesota for the conference, and so it was really just fun to get to know some of these employees. Of course, when summer rolls around, I get to the lake as often as possible, and that was no different this year. We had a nice summer, lots of bonfires, caught a few frogs, had turtle races, played lots of card games. 4th of July was a blast as I got to see one of my cousins who lives out in Montana and just reconnect, which is always good. As a way for me to stay connected with some of my good coworker friends at my past job, we set up monthly happy hours. And again, I'm so appreciative to them and their friendship and encouragement. Looking forward to trying out our new bars and new stops. Went to a few baseball games this summer. It's a great American pastime, and the Twins win. Had some fun weddings this year. This summer, one of my childhood friends got married, and it was such a beautiful wedding. I'm so happy for Maya and Eli. 3 more weddings came about in the fall of the year. I will always retain that weddings are so magical, and I love them. Congratulations to Rachel and Kyle. Congratulations to Leah and Brandon. And congratulations to my cousin, Jake and Carly. The Barbie movie came out this year, and I am a Barbie girl through and through. I loved watching all the OG Barbie movies, playing Barbie, and so I went with a few friends on opening night. We went out for drinks afterwards, and all the patios were full of pink people. It was a blast. My sister, brother-in-law, and brother went to the Twin Cities Music Festival at Target Field, and we got to see Imagine Dragons in concert and M. Byhold, among other artists. And it was just a fun day of music, a fun weekend that we had together. My car started breaking down on me this summer, and so by August, I'm very thankful for my father coming down, finding a good deal, and I got some new wheels. Was able to go to some other cabins this summer, and our good family friends got me hooked on the New York Times puzzles each day. I've only missed one Wordle this year. In the fall of the year, my grandparents moved out of their townhome into an apartment. They have a very lovely new space, and so the family helped out moving couches and wardrobes, but it was good to see them settled and closer to where my parents lived too. Went on a girl time getaway trip with my mom, sister, and aunt, and 30-40 other ladies on a bus, and had a blast. It's a surprise weekend where we stop at all these different places. This year we went to Whirly Ball, which is like lacrosse basketball in a bumper car. We went to the Midtown Global Market. We went on a boat tour in Stillwater on the St. Croix River. And one of my favorite stops we had on the trip was taking in a production of $1 Million Quartet at the Old Log Theater. Excellent show, and just really great memories with my people. Speaking of shows, I did take in a little bit of theater this year, all excellent. I saw Children of Eden. I saw $1 Million Quartet twice, actually, because it was just that good. For my sister's birthday, my mom and I surprised her with tickets to Derek Huff's Symphony of Dance tour, and we all appreciate dance. This is probably the best dancing we've ever seen and are ever going to see. Plus, I had never been to the State Theater, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous venue. I saw a high school's production of Big Fish, which is also a very fun show. Halloween was fun this year. My work did a costume contest, and so our marketing department all dressed up as different Barbies. I was Builder Barbie to give a nod to the construction side of our company. I hosted a Wild West murder mystery party and had a good time. Everyone showed out in their best attire, trying different accents. We really got into it, and of course we had some fun food and drinks as well, but it was just really good to catch up with friends and to have a fun night together. I went on my first business trip with my boss to Texas. Our company had just opened an office there this year. We took a quick trip to go and meet with the people in the office, show our faces, build those relationships, and then we took a little tour of some of our properties that had just opened or are under construction. It's so neat to see the differences people have in their day-to-day depending on what their job is, but to see how it all comes together for a common goal and purpose. After I got back from Texas, I had a day at home and then flew right out to Florida to visit a friend there, and we just had a really great time going to the ocean, catching up. We also booked an Everglades boat tour, which was so fun. Highly recommend. We saw so many different birds, we saw alligators, and my favorite, a soft-shelled turtle. And I got to feed it. When I got home, it was already Thanksgiving, and that's when I decided I needed to cut my hair. do something a little different to end the year, and it's kind of a fun new do. I helped my church organize and plan a live nativity event, and so I participated as one of the actors, as Mary. I roped my sister into being a shepherd. There was a petting zoo, so we had Millie the donkey tied up in the stable with us, and some of the kids were able to see the llamas and the sheep, and then go inside, get some cookies and cocoa, do a dance party, and hear more about the story of Jesus' birth. And then it was already Christmas, and I just love the Christmas season and everything leading up to it. I get to see friends who fly home for the holidays, and so it's always a good time to create some new memories. As is tradition, my sister and I sang a duet at our Christmas Eve service, accompanied by my dad. My high school gymnastics team hosted an alumni practice over the holiday break. And so my past teammates were texting each other, and we decided to get a group of us to go. It was a great turnout. 24 alumni were there, ranging from 2006 to 2022. And we can't quite move like we used to, but it was a blast to tumble around, flip around, try to swing on the bars, see what we could still pull off. And I'm just incredibly thankful for the gymnastics community and that team. We're still excited to see each other how many years later. As far as reading went this year, I had a goal to read 23 books in 2023. As of now, I'm at 22, but I have a book I'm gonna pick up, and I think it will be a success. Most of the books I read this year were 4 or 5 stars. I really enjoyed Lonnie Taylor's Strange the Dreamer duology. And I also listened to my first audiobooks this year. Through that medium, I was able to pick up books that I don't normally read, advice columns and philosophy. I'd also tried to do a book club with my friends, so I had a little bit more variety in my reading choices this year. I listened to a lot more music this year just because I did have the time and I found it uplifting. I created fun different playlists depending on my mood, and it was the year of Noah Kahan for me. Big fan. When looking back at this year, I'm just incredibly thankful for the people in my life who show me so much love. It's hard to express. What could have been a very difficult year was made all the better because of my family and friends. So again, thank you, thank you. Looking ahead to 2024, who knows what's in store, but I'm excited where I'm at. I foresee more reading, more dancing, more family time, more travel, and that sounds like a great year to me. Wishing you a fantastic 2024. Until next time. I did go on a few dates this year. Alas, maybe next year.